All right, it's probably going to be a little rough start. We haven't done this in a while.
A few months off, you're not going to be the best.
But, But, all right, 3, 2, welcome back to another episode of the Break You Podcast with your host, William.
Ethan.
Todd.
And we do have a special guest, the CEO of the company, Jacqueline.
Hi, I'm Jackie, as we all know. I am behind the scenes person that helps with these guys to make sure everything goes smoothly. We're going to talk about what we do here today, go in a little bit more depth because I know y'all have all been wondering. Like me and Todd, we are kind of more of the behind the scenes people when it comes to paperwork and legal things. We make sure everything is organized so we can have a clean transition with all this real estate and everything. So, yeah.
Most of the time, I pay the bills.
Mm-hmm.
She makes sure they're paid.
We all contribute, obviously.
We all.
Yeah. She handles most of the bank paperwork stuff. I handle most of the dealing with contractors, stuff like that. It's basically my behind the scenes part.
And we all, she's going to be a big, major role whenever it comes to the design and kind of the whole idea and the vision behind how the Airbnb property is going to look. So we have a broad idea on kind of what we want to go with, but everything when it comes into the creativity behind, what is appealing to the consumer, to the people that want to rent out is exactly what she's going to play a major role in. Handling the management side of everything, so the cleaners and making sure everything stays up to date, being able to deal with the guest. That's just some of the key points of some of the things that these guys obviously do for us. So with that being said, that's just a little introduction. I know it's been a couple months. We've all been busy. Where we've been at is one of the major things a lot of people have asked us about. And shout out to everybody that supported us and that just supports the vision and the journey. If it wasn't for y'all, I don't think we'd be making another episode.
Yeah.
But where we been at? So we all obviously by any means aren't rich. We don't have $1 million in the bank. We're not out here making millions and millions of dollars every day. This this podcast doesn't generate us any revenue. And I think I mentioned at the beginning that this wasn't going to be our main concern. So that being said, we have more of a seasonal based job where it requires a lot more of our time and it requires a lot more of our attention. And, we're all human beings, so we all get burnt out. I mean, working more than one job and being at a job for more than 14 hours a day, 12 hours a day does get exhausting. Our job is kind of labor intensive. And we're all doing something, in a way we're all contributing. She's working 2 jobs, he's working 2 jobs. We're working a lot of overtime at our job, and we got a couple other things we do behind the scenes that makes us money. So, but that being said, everybody's kind of just been putting their foot down, putting their head down, kind of grinding everything out. And I'm proud of everybody's progress. Everybody's done great. By any means, building Rome didn't get built in a day. It didn't take a day. It took years. It took time. It took dedication. It took failures. So that's just kind of where we've been at, and that's kind of what we've been up to. With that being said, we're back. We love to continue to just put out content and be able to help other people like us. We understand how difficult it is, especially whenever you want to do something other than work a regular 9 to 5, which isn't anything. That's not a problem, There's nothing wrong with wanting to work a regular job and wanting to live a regular life. It just happens to be this isn't what we want to do with our time. It's not everything we want in our life. So that's kind of the brief little rundown why we haven't been uploading. We got drained. We did try to do a every week schedule, and it just wasn't going to work for us. And jumping into something that you've never done before, you realize how much more work it takes and how much more it actually takes of your time. So we just decided to shift our time and energy into other major things, and that's just kind of what we decided to do. And little update. Let's see what we got. So I think we left off with the real estate property, right? That was the last thing we left off with.
I think the last thing we left off with on the real estate property was right before the plumbing had got done. So it was demo and all that. I think that was the last thing that we had.
Yeah, we were just starting to start plumbing, I think.
Okay, so we obviously bought a home. We bought a home in North Carolina. I don't think we talked about price points or anything, but we bought a house for a rental property, or we brought a property for $185,000.
185
yeah,
on the dot.
185.
Yeah, $185,000.
Right near the beach.
Yeah, pretty good location. Not a bad spot, and it was a home that was built in the
50s.
Early 50s, late 40s.
Yeah, so a lot
Very
of
old
things.
house.
A lot of things in that house were completely outdated. It didn't
Very.
it didn't even have sockets, right? To you had to pull strings and stuff. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It had still had pull string lights. Most of the sockets were outdated. The last renovation was probably the early 90s from what it looked like.
And we'll roll some clips to see the before.
Yeah, the inside was, I mean, it was livable, yes, but was it in today's standards livable?
No.
Not
No.
one bit. It had no, what do you call it? Oh my God, my mind went blank. It had no insulation on any of the exterior
Yeah.
walls.
No insulation whatsoever.
The kitchen was completely slanted from whoever had
Yeah, it was.
gone over. It was because the
It was an
kitchen,
addition.
Yeah.
the kitchen was an addition to the house. They built that years later, and whoever built it,
The
they
floor was like,
yeah.
Yeah, whenever this house was built, there was no such thing as a refrigerator or a stove. I mean, there's the chimney's gone now, but there was an old chimney where you had your gas or your fire.
It was a cast iron.
Your cast iron stove that you cooked on top of, and also heated the house. And there
Yeah.
was no AC back in the day either.
no washer dryer.
No washer and
nothing.
dryer. So
Yeah. So we definitely went in a little bit over our heads, just a little bit.
It was a good buy.
Yeah, it was definitely a deal that we couldn't pass up on for the area, and just kind of like for it being our first project, I think it was a little bit bigger than we expected it to be, and we were gonna cut corners, and that kind of just once we realized how much more work and how much more money was going to be required, we kind of decided to focus on that a lot more, and that's just kind of what we decided to do. It also didn't have a septic system. It had like a different type of sewer
yeah, it
system.
had what you call a cesspool, which is basically just a bunch of cinder blocks and like underground and a hole, and it just kind of fills up and just seeps out.
So
Not very good.
yeah, so it's a lot of things that we had to have done, and there was a lot of strings we had to pull, a lot of people we've had to talk to, and luckily, we know enough people around the area.
Yes,
and
we
know
do.
enough contractors and stuff. So
God
we
bless it.
definitely have saved money on letting people help us out and contracting certain work out to family members and friends and et cetera, et cetera. So we thank God for that positioning and being able to do that, and that help us out in that situation, because if not, we'd probably be way over budget to what we expected to spend on this property. So that's another plus side. Yeah, pretty much we bought a home that was a little bit more outdated. It was requiring a lot more work, and we decided to, instead of paying somebody to completely renovate the property, we did a little bit of the deconstructing of the property ourselves. So we went, tore the walls down, kind of tore everything that we kind of knew we could do. We did ourselves, and we went and we did it, and it worked out. So we saved a lot of money there, putting in the labor, the hours, and we were able to just kind of work on that for the first month. And then we ran into a couple situations where we did try to outsource some of the work to certain people, and just certain contractors didn't end up working out in our favor, and that kind of pushed us back on the dates. And everything
happens.
everything isn't how people claim to be. Everything doesn't happen overnight, and it's not easy. You're gonna fall into situations where stuff's not gonna go as you planned, but you look around that and you find another way.
Exactly.
Amen.
So
It's like climbing a mountain. Like you think it's going to be a smooth climb all the way to the top, but what you didn't realize was you're going to have to climb that big ass rock, and you're going to have to swim through this pond to get to the other side, and then
we definitely went to Plan C like 3 times so far.
Yeah.
We're probably going to Plan C a fourth time.
there's definitely a lot more work behind it. So if there's anybody that wants to
100%.
get into any real estate or wants to get into anything, it's not impossible, but it's not easy.
it's not going to be easy one
You
bit.
better put the time in if you
Yeah,
want
for
to work
sure.
out.
So, I'm glad to be able to sit here and kind of explain our journey and explain our process, because it has been 5 months and we have learned a lot, we've developed a lot, and, we've just been able to understand, like, hey, we got through this period, we made it through this time. We might not be exactly where we expected, but we have progressed, and we have made some change, and we've adjusted, and we've been able to just get past everything. So, shout out to everybody that's still in this room that's making this happen. God bless all of us. I'm proud of every single one of you guys. Vice versa, I appreciate everybody. There's a lot of people that I've met out in public and that sees us, and they're always like, "Hey, like when y'all gonna post the next episode?" Like,
shout out to you guys.
God bless y'all.
Like honestly, like
here it is.
Yeah,
that's why we're
more
here
to come. More to come.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like hearing the consistency of all y'all say like, "Hey, like I'm excited or what y'all are doing, like it's awesome." That kind of has driven me to continue and driven us to continue to just focus on this too, now that we can have more time for this. So that's awesome. It's wonderful. And pretty much so we're probably about, I want to say $40,000 in renovation costs. We have the plumbing done, the electrical work is also got put done, the HVAC systems got put in. We had to expand the bathroom and we had to make that bigger. We had to do there used to be a tub in the bathroom, as you can see, and we went from a tub in the bathroom to a
custom shower.
Yeah, custom shower.
Since this is going to be a big project for us, and we've realized that we're going to have to dump a lot of money into it, we figured we'd go nice, because whoever comes down there and visits, they're not going to be in a cheap shower.
Yeah.
They're in an expensive poured shower that is custom made.
Yeah. So we definitely didn't go cheap on everything. We definitely have spent a lot of money on just the basic, materials and kind of the design that we want to go with. And we'll look in the future and we'll see maybe this was the right decision or maybe it wasn't. But I guess we'll find out in a couple of years. It takes time. So yeah, we had to expand the bathroom.
Knock out a closet. Get rid of some windows. We decided to enclose the back porch area and create that into kind of like a laundry room, more like laundry room, sunroom.
So, laundry room and sunroom area.
Yeah. And we were going to initially not replace the windows and I think not replace the siding.
Yeah,
and it just made more sense since we're already in these stages of the project to just go ahead
and do it all.
Do it all.
So that obviously, meant more money. It's a lot more money we have to spend, which is completely fine because luckily, we have positioned ourselves to be able to do these things. So, it's awesome. It goes back to, when you set your mind on something and you focus on something, it will happen and you can't get it done. So I'm more than, happy to be able to say that we're good. Everything, we got the money for it. We definitely, I think we went over we're definitely going to go over maybe $30,000 in the budget, but the money's there. We'll be able to afford everything and we should have everything done by November.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the plan right there. We'll continue to show updates and kind of just vlog the experience and kind of show what we're doing and how we kind of set the whole process along the way. It's been a very interesting 5 months.
The beautiful part is that we've got majority of the big things out of the way. Now it's just the build-up process, which is going to be easy and it's going to be beautiful because this is what we've been waiting for the past 3 months.
Yep.
And it's finally here and we're excited very much. So you'll see a lot of progress in the next couple months. So.
Oh yeah. If you ever want to get into buying any type of real estate, definitely sit down and think about that.
Definitely
100%.
Definitely, your bank accounts need to look good enough to where you can go buy a home. Because if you have no money, you're not going to be able to go buy a home.
And don't go get a loan that you can't pay back.
And don't think that just because you bought a house for a certain price that they're going to give you a washer, a dryer, a refrigerator.
Yeah. I don't even think a lot of people know, but so this last year has been interesting for all of us. Actually, in the last year, we bought this house we live in now, and we also bought the rental property probably a month after. So our life has drastically changed in over a year. I think next week makes a year since we moved into this
September
house?
22nd, we moved into this house.
It makes a year?
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't feel like I've been making a payment for that long.
I know,
oh, brother, we have.
Okay, I gotta look back. Maybe
go look at the records.
Oh yeah. So it's awesome to look back at all the risk and all the things we've done, and it was a lot more on our plate. When we kind of decided to do this a couple years ago, I'll give you all the rundown. We were kind of just straight out of high school, weren't really too sure what we wanted to do, but we knew we wanted to do something more with ourselves and with our life and with our money. And so we set a goal, we set a vision, we set a dream, we set a team, and we went after it. none of this was built overnight. I didn't come for money. They didn't come for money. Everything was just, scaled up. It's hard work, dedication, taking time out of our days, and just understanding that there's a bigger picture at the end of the day. It took us, I want to say, roughly a year to a year and a half maybe to have the money to be able to afford this first property, and then to also put a down payment on the second house. And, even on top of that, we had to use other resources, and we had to, learn a lot more about, what a credit card really does for you, and kind of like how to actually use things to your advantage.
Correct.
And it set us up, so we definitely spent a lot of money. I think in the last year and a half.
When we bought the second property, between all of us, like the day we closed on that second property, between all of us, I guarantee you we probably had $4,000 between all four of us.
Yeah.
Like that's not a lie. Like there was probably $4,000 between all four of our bank accounts.
Oh yeah.
Like that was a complete like restart. Besides our business account, like we were like, all right, like we're back to 18.
Yeah.
Like we're literally back to 18.
Yeah. So we had to, we took a lot of risk, and we took a lot of gambles, and shout out to God for being there. At the end of the day,
right.
if it wasn't for Him, we wouldn't have half the opportunity we have now. And everything's great. Like we're all better now.
We're blessed.
We recovered. We're blessed. We're in a better position, and we've made money. Off our jobs and off a couple other things we had going on. For a while, we were renting out cars, and we were flipping furniture and stuff like that, which we're not completely done with right now. We've just had to stir away. We actually ended up buying a truck. I think in that time frame, we also bought a truck for like $26,000.
24,500.
Yeah, $24,500. We went and we resold it just previously, like a month ago, for how much?
16,500.
16,500. And we probably also made like $8,000 off of rental revenue. So that was a really good investment. Talk about making money off of a car. A lot of people would tell you a car's a liability, but it's all about how you kind of set yourself up to make money. Yeah. And then we around the same time, Ethan was also looking to get a new car. So he got a new car, and we rented his car out, and we also made a lot of money off that. So that was also a blessing. And then I think the summer of last year, we also kind of got into flipping furniture, and we probably made, I think, a little over $10,000 just flipping furniture and making sales, this, that, and the other. And none of it was easy. No. There's a reason why we're not flipping furniture.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, here's the furniture, boom, let's go grab it real quick. No,
and
it's on an island.
If you can't,
you got to ship it over. You got to get it over there. You got to take it. You got to go put it in a storage unit. Oh, and somebody needs to buy it. Oh, you got to go out of your way, leave work or leave the house, go meet with them at the storage unit. Sell it to them. Boom. It's not an easy process.
And as far as posting it on Marketplace or Craigslist or whatever you're using, you'll realize really quick that you are not the dumbest person out there.
Oh,
like 110% first 5 messages you're gonna get, you're gonna have to sit there and look at yourself, like reflect for a minute and be like, is this really like? Are they even capable of having a piece of furniture? it gets bad after a while. But it's worth it in the long run.
It is.
It is. It's time consuming as far as like a lot of texting, doing this, doing that. Like he used to find the furniture. Me and him used to get the furniture. I used to sell the furniture, or I handled the listings.
I was about to say,
then he would go to the unit and meet him if I couldn't, or we would go together.
Yeah. I would take time to go do it.
Yeah.
So if y'all don't know, we kind of work for an island, kind of like a company that works like transportation and whatnot. So it's kind of a lot of people give stuff away over there, and it's kind of hard to get it off the island. So there's a lot of strings and a lot of networking that
it's good to know people.
Done. Yeah, it's not about your net worth; it's your network. It's who you know.
Amen.
That's what's going to get you so much further ahead. And I've learned that in the last couple months. So, I pulled some strings, we would get it off, figured certain things out. Definitely, did some things we weren't supposed to do to try to get stuff off. But it worked out.
But
shout out to you, Bonner.
Shout out to you, Bonner. Sorry that you had to see us loading that trailer up.
But, it's worked out. And so it's funny to just sit here and kind of, I guess, explain how we've gotten to this point, because we've never really sat down.
Reminisce.
And also talked to you.
We might have one by one said this and that, but we've never actually all sat down together and been like, oh wow.
Yeah. So it's taken a lot of work to get here, by any means. Like, this wasn't done overnight, and it wasn't like, a lot of people, see from the outside are like, man, like, they, how easy it was and this, that, and the other. It's definitely not easy.
Nope.
I mean, there's a lot of money we've spent that we wish we didn't spend, and there's a lot of
money we've
There's
lost.
a lot of mental.
we've lost,
Yeah.
a lot of mental.
There's a lot of mental stress that you go under during all this too, and you gotta keep a positive mindset while you're going under a lot of mental stress too. So,
But it's great to have each other. It's great to have
Amen.
a team.
Oh
So.
yeah,
nothing would be possible if these 4 people weren't at this circle table.
100%. And it also goes back to the trust we have in each other. We have a really big history even behind all this. We all went to high school together. We all grew up in me and E, I think we've been childhood friends since elementary school.
Kindergarten.
Yeah, so there's a lot more behind this. I want to let y'all know that if anybody out there is doubting you, don't listen to them. I'm telling you, whenever we got this house, whenever we wanted to start this business, whenever we did all these things we did, there's so many people that said it wasn't going to work, that said this wasn't going to happen, that this was never going to be how it's going to play out, or we think it's this easy.
Y'all are over y'all's heads.
Yeah.
Or,
Y'all,
yes.
yeah.
Like, or like.
There's no way 3 friends can all get a house together. That's impossible. They'll never get along for that long.
How long have we been living here, guys? Almost a year now.
Yeah, we've been here for a year. I mean,
No one's dead yet.
yeah, nobody's died.
Yeah.
Couple death threats. but-
Maybe the fish behind us, but we're not going to talk about that.
So basically, I suck at a fish tank.
I think it was just a little bit, that part where we're talking about a little bit over your head, a little bit over the water.
There's 240 gallons of over your head back there.
But it looks good on camera. So.
It does look good on camera. So, hey. But, with all that being said, a lot of people doubted us. A lot of people told us it wasn't going to work. And, we proved them wrong. Who's to say that maybe in the long run they might be right. But as of right now, we're doing great and everything has worked out exactly like it needs to work out. And we're proud of that. And, it's not about being perfect. None of us are perfect. And it's not about, trying to build something that is impossible. It's about figuring out a relationship, a friendship, any type of relationship with anybody in this world is about being able to understand each other's differences and trying to be able to come together and work through everything. If you don't ever find a way to work through something, then you're never going to get along with anybody. So at the end of the day, everybody sees things differently. We always don't see eye to eye. We go into arguments. We don't agree on decisions. But one thing that's for certain is we all share the same goal, the same vision of being somewhere else than where we're at now and doing more of our lives. And that's what truly matters to us. So for anybody out there that doesn't have anybody or just doesn't know where to start with yourself. Focus on who you want to be. Focus on the trajectory you want your life to go to, and understand that you have to make mistakes. You have to lose money. You have to lose friends. You have to meet new people. You have to take that chance. You have to take that invite, because anything you do in your life can change your life forever. I mean, if you go out and you just simply say hey to a stranger, you don't understand that person might be your best friend. You might create a whole relationship off that person.
We were all strangers at one point.
Yeah.
I didn't meet him until 8th grade.
Yeah, and we probably didn't really start hanging out until high school.
And we didn't start hanging out till high school.
Yeah.
We didn't start hanging out till after high school. We've known each other forever.
We didn't start hanging out till after high school. And then, really, I still remember the first day I came over to his house because my dad said, I don't know if I can drop you off here or not. Okay,
Yeah.
so it all starts with randomness. They've been together 7,
It'll be
Eight-
8 years.
going
in
on 8
October.
years.
8 years in a month. They were strangers in 7th grade. So it all depends on, I guess, you never know who you're going to meet. I encourage people, it's not necessarily the best thing to do every weekend, but every couple months, go out somewhere, especially if you're above 18. Go out and have a good time. You never know who you're going to meet.
Especially if you work a lot.
Yeah,
If you work a lot and you destroy your mental every day at a job that you love but you hate, you got to have time to just enjoy yourself.
It's a balance. You got to be able to balance your work life and your personal life and just work on yourself in between all of that. It's hard. School doesn't teach us to, enjoy ourselves, and it's kind of like, life is about living. Life isn't about saving all this money and doing just this certain thing forever. Like, yeah, work your ass off now or work your ass off later, but eventually you're going to have to work for it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to be young forever, but you're also not going to be old forever. But however you decide to live your life is however you decide to live your life right now is the trajectory your life will go in the future. We spent money on investments into our future, but we've also spent money into just enjoying ourselves, having fun and, just taking the time to be proud of what we built and what we already have. Shout out to the rain because it's raining outside.
Shout out to
In a month, no, 2 months, we all go on a cruise together. I mean, we're all going to go enjoy ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be really fun.
Something new.
Yep. But, I really think that the balance, like one of the most key things, and it's one of the most key things that, I'm sorry if I'm talking really loud, guys. I'm trying to watch my voice and do this at the same time. But,
First episode back.
Yeah, first episode back. But what I found a lot this summer was a big learning curve for me is, you have to balance your life and work. Like this summer, you can ask them. I kept three shirts of one job, 3 shirts of another job in the back seat of my truck. I literally rotated from job to job. I would do that from 20 consecutive, 25 consecutive days.
Yeah.
And, then
Crazy.
I might take 2 or 3 days off. But
That's a month, 2 or 3 days off
Yeah.
a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
A month. Imagine working every day, all day.
You get to enjoy yourself 3 days out of the whole month.
3 days out of the whole month. And, and most of the time those 3 days were with these 2 guys. So, but you really have to, I think one of my biggest takeaways this summer is really just balance in life. You really have to determine, like if you take a day off, go do something on your own, or, text one of your friends to hang out, or go out and meet somebody new. That's just one of my biggest takeaways this summer is, I got really caught up in just working, and it really brings like your mental health down. You don't feel like you can go out and do certain things. You feel like you were just stuck in an endless loop of just working, and it's just not all that. So I really encourage you, if you're like a workaholic, like we are, yes, we're workaholics, but I think we've all learned to grow on how to manage our workaholicness. Would you guys say that?
Yeah.
Like we will work ourselves to nothing, but we've all learned how to manage our workaholicness, and we know what it's going to take to get here to our bigger picture. But come over here a little bit, have a good time, at least enjoy it for a little while,
And then get back to it.
Yeah, and then go back to 20 consecutive days working.
Yeah, it's all about the enjoyment. Yeah, life's been interesting the last couple months, and we've grown a lot in the last couple months. We've had to do a lot of growing up for sure, so fast, and we've had to just make hard decisions, and we've had to work through some things, and not everything has been positive in our life. There's a lot of things that we probably won't ever mention, but there's a lot of things that have happened in the last couple months that have made us really realize, dang, is this the people we want to be around? Is this the environment we want to put ourselves in? Is this the type of things we want to, surround our mentality with? Because, they say that the people you hang around don't make you, but the people that hang around you do break you. And the reason why I say that is because you might not think you'll ever be like this one person, or you might not be like these people, but you have to realize, how's it sound? It sounds good? Bad or good?
You're a little low, but fine. Just keep going.
Right.
I'm just checking.
You're good. But you have to realize that, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Where was I at?
People will break you.
People will break you.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. So you have to realize that over time, if you're around certain people and they're not how you want to be or who you want to be, that you will slowly start to adapt to that change. You will slowly start to adapt your mind, and your mind will start to process things the same way they process things. So I definitely recommend, if you want to do more, or if you want to escape what you're currently going through, please surround yourself with new people. Please take that chance. Please start cutting people out your life, because that is the most important thing you can do for yourself, for your mental,
For your future.
physical, for your future, for your kids, for anything that you want to do. That's where it starts. It's right there. I promise you that if you do that, if you just start to surround yourself around people that you want to be like, I promise you your whole life will change in a matter of days, weeks, months. I don't know how long it's going to take you. I don't know what it's going to take, but I know one day it'll be like a switch. It'll just click. Everything will make sense, and things will start to fall into place. And the biggest thing I could share with the world and share with you guys is it's not about blaming people or blaming God or blaming whatever higher power you believe in. It's not about blaming, like, why is this happening to me, or why is it me, or why does these things always happen, or that's not what life is trying to teach you. You need to understand it's not why, it's how can I learn, how can I grow, how can I improve, how can I understand my circumstances, and how can I be better in the future, how can I improve my day, how can I actually elevate my mind, how can I actually get out of this comfort zone and be better and attack this world and be prepared for it. You know, I understand that I may not be anybody important right now, but everybody that's watching this needs to understand that I'm not where I'm going to be in 20 years. I know, and this isn't even to prove to y'all, it's to prove to myself. It's a document in my journey, you know. I know 20 years from now, I'll look back at this and I'll be like, look at what we did, look at the chances we took, look at the risk we did, and look at it all paid out. And everything might not work out. This might not ever work out, but I'm willing to take the gamble on it right now and set myself up. And if it does, I'll look back at this and, you know, I'll be proud of what I created and what we've done together as a group.
You got to fail to succeed.
Exactly. You know, it ain't easy. You know, it ain't easy. It ain't been easy for none of us. We're all on different spiritual walks. We're on different spiritual journeys. But I promise you, if you start to reprogram your mind and you reprogram your thinking and you go from blaming people to thinking negatively to start to prove and understand, improve your mind and start to understand that it's about learning, growing, and changing and consuming that wisdom, because the biggest key takeaway is not to have $1 million, it's to know how to make $1 million. The two differences in those concepts is the wisdom behind it. If you understand how to do something, no one can ever take that away from you. That's why they say wisdom and knowledge is the key to success. You know, it's so cliche. You see it everywhere on social media. You see it with constantly people telling you, like, it's this simple, it's this simple. It really is that simple. Because I look back at stuff now, and it's not like it's too late, but I look back now, and I say it all the time to these guys. I'm like, man, I wish I would have went to college. I wish I would have actually sat down and educated myself, because I realized that education might not be where, like, going to college might not have what I want to do with my life, but the education behind what school teaches you is really, really important. So I advise, if you're somebody that doesn't know what they want to do with themselves, go to school and go get an education, enlighten your mind. Dig into philosophy, dig into understanding how the human mind works, dig into understanding how people have done what they've done. Look into the history of this world, look into the history of the universe. I promise you, if you sit down and you just focus on those things right there, you'll set yourself up for greatness. I'm telling you now, because I might not go back to college right now, but I know one day when I have what I have and I get to where I get, I will give myself an education properly to be able to elevate my mind more, because this is only the start. You know, I'm not here to build a house. I'm here to build a city. I'm here to build a kingdom. You know, we're here to make sure everybody wins. And along the way, I love to document it, you know. So that's my key takeaway from these last couple months. This is where my mentality is at right now. I appreciate every single one of the people that are watching this, and I appreciate everybody that continues to show love. You know, repost, share it with your friends, share it with your family. I promise you, this won't be a letdown. I promise you, if you just sit and watch, not only will you watch what we build, but you'll watch how much further your mind will elevate, how much further and how easy it really is to be better and to become successful, right? Everybody puts success on a pedestal. Everybody thinks it's so hard, or man, it is hard, it's difficult, but I promise you, it's not impossible. You just got to make that one step, focus on one thing at a time. Everybody focused on how to be all the way at the top, but you got to focus on the first step in front of you. If you can get to that first step, okay, get to the next step, right? Get to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And before you know it, you're going to look back and you halfway there, man. You know, it's that easy. So, that's my takeaway. Is there anybody else that wants to add anything? Kind of want to, anything we missed? No?
I think that's...
If you've ever been tased before, I feel you. I was recently tased.
That's awesome.
But yeah, great things are coming ahead. Stay tuned. We got lots planned, and we're gonna try to vlog more to see, you know, what happens not on this table, but outside of our lives and stuff.
So yeah, the trajectory of this channel, and we may branch out into other things, but we're definitely going to experiment with a couple things in the next couple months, and we'll see how it goes. And really, just to inform y'all, kind of like, this is what we're doing, but also to kind of document ourselves and look back 20, 30 years and be like, wow, I remember when we were 21 years old and we were doing this type of stuff.
We're sitting in our garage talking about what
showing
we were
our
doing.
kids these videos one day.
They're little Pedro. No, their kids. Me and E over here, no kids.
If,
I'm sorry, guys. Excuse him. I will have kids. It's not right now.
But as of right now, what we have coming up, we'll be documenting kind of how much more further along the real estate property will go, and the schedule we're gonna try to maintain, because you got to think we're getting back into this routine, right? Building another habit. We're probably gonna try to upload every 2 weeks. It'll probably be a Friday or a Saturday. I haven't completely made my mind up yet. And maybe between those 2 weeks, we might throw a vlog. We might throw a vlog in there, and it might work. It might not. This can completely go south, and it completely could go a different direction. But as of right now, we do want to go with an every 2 week schedule upload, and we want to talk about the real estate property progress, kind of a little bit more behind the scenes. Y'all can leave comments on like certain things you want to know. If you guys are curious on how you can use a credit card to your advantage, or on how you could get your first home, a FHA loan, anything like that, y'all can comment. We could also talk about, your opinions and your ideas matter. So if you want answers, we'd love to answer them,
Yeah.
And we're speaking from experience because we know, it's not like we're going to misguide you. And if there's something we don't know, we just really won't,
Yeah, we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah, so that's really pretty much what we got going on right now. We got a couple other things we're doing in the background that will slowly get announced throughout videos, so y'all have to continue to stay tuned for that.
Just be patient with us.
But other than that, that's pretty much the summary of what we had going on. We appreciate everybody's constant support.
There was a guy who once told us a very important quote. Focus on yourself.
Focus on yourself.
Focus on
Yes.
yourself.
Yes.
And you will be great.
Yeah.
If you focus on yourself and you stop focusing on everybody else,
Yep.
greatness happens.
That was a spiritual journey that we took.
Focus on yourself.
With that being said, we're your hosts, William,
Ethan.
Todd, break you.
Yo.
Break you.
Bye.
Break you.
I love that. That was good. That was at least 40 minutes.
Yeah, it was.
Oh,